So, this week we've been letting timeless stories do the teaching. And today we're going to continue with one of my favorites. And I think by the end of it, you're going to see your last bad run, your last disappointing result, your last setback in a completely different light. This is an ancient Chinese parable that has been told for over 2,000 years. And the reason it's lasted that long is because the wisdom in it never gets old. There was once a farmer who lived a simple life with one son and one horse. The horse was everything. It was how he plowed his fields, how he planted his crops, how he fed his family. Well, one day the horse ran away. The neighbors came rushing over. "What terrible luck," they said. "You've lost your only horse right before planting season. This is a disaster." The farmer listened, and then he said quietly, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" A few days later, the horse came back, and it brought with it a herd of wild horses. Suddenly, the farmer had more horses than anyone else in the village. The neighbors, of course, came back, excited. "What wonderful luck. You're a rich man now." The farmer listened, and once again he said, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" Not long after this, his son was trying to tame one of the wild horses and was thrown off, breaking his leg. The neighbors shook their heads. "Such bad luck. Your son can't work. How will you manage the harvest?" The farmer listened. "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" he said. Then the emperor's army came through the village, conscripting every able-bodied young man to fight in a distant war. When they came to the farmer's house, they saw his son with his broken leg and passed by him. His son was the only young man in the entire village who stayed home. The neighbors came back with tears in their eyes. "Your son is safe. What incredible luck." And the farmer, one more time, simply said, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" Now, here's the question for today. How many times have you labeled something in your life as bad? A loss, a setback, a missed opportunity, maybe an injury or a disappointing season, only to find out later that it was setting something else into motion. So what looked like the worst thing that could have happened was actually redirecting you towards something better. Here's how everything connects directly to what we've been talking about, especially the last 2 weeks. The farmer's wisdom is really a story about the ego. Why? Well, the ego is the one that needs to label everything. It's our ego that decides, this is good and this is bad. This is a success and this is a failure. This is lucky and this is not. Because the ego cannot tolerate uncertainty. It needs to judge, compare, control, and make decisions. But the farmer, in his quiet wisdom, refuses to judge. He holds the outcome loosely. He trusts that he cannot see the whole picture from where he stands. And then that trust is what gives him peace, a peace that none of his neighbors have. So remember last week when we talked about detaching our worth from our results and about releasing outcomes and competing from love instead of fear? Well, this is what that looks like lived out in real life. Not indifference. Now, the farmer clearly cared about his horse and his son, but he had a deep, settled trust that he didn't need to label everything as good or bad in the moment because he knows he can't see what's coming next. Now, Proverbs 3 5 through 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." Hmm. The farmer trusted something bigger than his own judgment. And that's exactly what we're invited to do as well. So good luck, bad luck, only God knows. And that's enough. So come back tomorrow for our last story of the week.